Good morning, everyone. My name is Valentina Goldman. I'm the spokesperson of the German Embassy. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much also for the audience on Zoom. We do have journalists on Zoom as well joining us today. Thank you very much to our speakers, Madam Ambassador, Parliamentary Secretary Turnbull, Christina Bilyk from ISED, Jayson Myers from NGen, and we do have Stéphane Lessard from GAC. Thank you very much for being here with us. We will open with some introductory remarks by our speakers, and then we will follow with a question and answers period. Please feel free to ask your questions. We're here to talk. Yes, for all those who are with us on Zoom, we will have the possibility. Please do write in comments your questions, and we will answer to them as well. So yes, I do ask for the cell phones to be muted if they aren't yet, because this microphone is very sensitive. And off we go.
Thanks, Valentina. Welcome here to the German residents. Bonjour à toutes et à tous. It's a great pleasure to have you here. We thought we would provide this press briefing, given that press in Germany has been briefed extensively by Hannover Messe and the Canadian Embassy on this exciting event in the bilateral calendar of German-Canadian relations, Hannover Messe, which is the biggest industrial trade fair in the world, and has Canada is excited to welcome Canada as the official partner country this year. A decision that was announced in 2022 when Chancellor Scholz visited Canada. And I think it's a truly timely opportunity, given the geopolitical circumstances, and all the discussion here in the country about the need to diversify trade, for Canada to present itself at this huge event, and for your businesses to seek new business opportunities with partners in the world and German industry. So the fair takes place from 31st March to 4th April, with the official opening happening on the 30th. I will take you through what the program will look like in a minute. But maybe just to give you a little bit of background on Hannover Messe, which is older than the Federal Republic of Germany. It was actually the Western Allies that founded this fair in 1947, so 2 years before the Federal Republic of Germany was founded, originally as a simple export fair, and has developed since into the biggest trade and industry event in the world. With if you take PDAC, for example, I think you have 27,000 visitors from 135 countries and around 1,100 exhibitors. Hannover Messe is 130,000 on-site attendees, 4,000 exhibitors, and 156 countries, just to give you the dimension of it, and 1,500 journalists alone attending the event. So a really good opportunity. The motto this year is energizing sustainable industry, and Canada and Canadian businesses will have the opportunity to present around fields like smart manufacturing, AI and industry, digital ecosystems, etc. So it's a tradition to always have a partner country. Last year it was Norway. Next year it's going to be Brazil, and this year it's our Canadian friends. The custom is that, along with being a partner country, is that the head of government or the head of state comes for the opening. So, for example, when the US was the partner country in 2016, President Obama came and attended the event. Of course, in Canada, we are we will see who the Prime Minister will be at the end of March, and what the domestic situation will look like, and whether that's going to be possible or not. On the German side, it will be the German Chancellor, and as we will probably not have a new government by then, also the current leader of the opposition, who will be the next Chancellor. They usually, Friedrich Merz always attended the fair in the past years as well. So my expectation would be that both of them will be present. The highlight events for the partner country usually is the Sunday evening, the 30th, which is the official opening, which is really a big event that's live streamed and with a lot of, as I said, the Chancellor being there and whoever leads the Canadian delegation. Then on the Monday, you have the opening walkabout, where the two heads of delegation will open the Canadian pavilion and then walk through the grounds. And then there is, of course, the conference program with many bilateral elements, also the Global Innovation Summit under the German-Canadian Eureka co-chair. And then the highlight is the partner country highlight, or one of the highlights is the Wednesday, where you have the partner country night, which is a huge cultural event that also allows the country to present itself from that corner. So why don't I leave it at this, just to say we're excited, we are thrilled. We want to be part of the solution in terms of creating new business opportunities and diversifying trade. And I think this will be a great success. Over to you.
Thanks, Ambassador. It's great to be here. Good morning, everyone. Guten Morgen. On behalf of the Government of Canada, it's my pleasure to join Ambassador Bellmann here at the German Embassy this morning and to talk about Hannover Messe 2025. I also want to acknowledge senior government officials that are here with us today, including Ms. Christina Bilyk from ISED and Mr. Stéphane Lessard from Global Affairs Canada and Mr. Jayson Myers from NGen. Thank you also for being here, all of you. So, of course, Canada has been looking forward to this event ever since being named partner country, which I think was August 2022, if my notes are correct. And so that's a long time to anticipate such a great event, but it is a world-class, world-leading event. It's pretty clear that it is the preeminent industrial innovation and technology trade show in the world. So it's a real honor for us. I can tell you that Canada is eager to showcase our talent, our innovation, and our commitment to sustainable solutions. Canada has, I think, a strength in those areas. I think we share that passion with Germany, but also, I'm sure, many other countries around the world. As a partner country for 2025, we will use this opportunity to strengthen our relationship with our hosts, in Germany, but also many other European countries. I think that will serve us well at this moment. As you mentioned, the geopolitical tensions that we currently experience, I think, make this timely in terms of an opportunity for Canada to seize, strengthening a diverse set of relationships that will make us more resilient in the future. We will continue to forge partnerships between Canadian businesses and global leaders in AI, robotics, e-mobility, clean tech, and other industries of the future. Our Team Canada approach includes an impressive contingent of companies, post-secondary institutions. I'm very proud of my local one, Ontario Tech University, a world-class research community, and inputs from our provincial and territorial partners. Together, Canada will show the world that we are the partner of choice for innovative, advanced manufacturing solutions that are green, digital, and resilient. And the fact is that Canada, like Germany, has a lot to offer the world, and I think we all know that. From our tremendous natural resources to our world-class knowledge economy, to a diverse and innovative workforce, and a diversified and growing list of trading partners. The Canadian economy is custom-built to succeed in the 21st century. I think even in the era of protectionism, the rise of protectionism and economic uncertainty that brings us, it's shaken us up, I'm sure. All of us are concerned about that. I think we can continue to push forward for an ambitious, confident, and prosperous Canada. And so what we're doing here is generating exciting opportunities, opening up new markets, and creating good paying jobs. I think you'll agree that those three things are more important now than they've been for quite some time. And so to Ambassador Bellmann and the entire organizing team for Hannover Messe 2025, I want to extend our government's sincere gratitude for having us and naming us as a partner. And we can't wait to see you all in Germany. I hope I get to go. And to everyone else that is making the trip, I want to remind you that the future is here. The future is Canadian, and we are ready to lead. So Danke, thank you. And I'm now pleased to turn it over to Christina Bilyk, who is the executive lead for Canada at Hannover Messe 2025 from Innovation, Science, and Economic Development Canada.
Thanks, Parliamentary Secretary Turnbull. Thank you, Ambassador, for really setting the table so nicely for me and covering a number of topics. So what I'll talk a little bit about is why we think Hanover is such a great opportunity for Canadian companies, and a little bit about what our overarching goals are. Jay is going to fill in the color on the different industrial technologies that you'll be able to see, as well as some of the results we had from last year. So we're co-collaborators in all things Hanover, and part of a larger team, obviously, Team Canada, which also includes Global Affairs, Invest in Canada, National Research Council, representation from provinces, from municipalities. So we're really taking a very holistic approach to this into helping Canadian companies. And that's really why we think Hanover is so unique, because as Ambassador Bellmann and the Parliamentary Secretary mentioned, it is truly a horizontal show. Not only is it huge in its scale, but it really covers all key sector verticals. And that's something that we don't really see anywhere else. So you bring together all these industry leaders in one place with cutting edge technology. And it is a very strong environment where Canadian companies and Canadian who are exhibiting or visiting are able to make new business connections. And that's really our big objective, is to drive those economic outcomes for Canadian companies. So new sales agreements, new innovation partnerships, new investments in their business. And we've seen great results in 2024. And I know Jay's going to want to share some of that with you. So I'm going to let him handle that. So that's really kind of what we're all focused on, is driving those economic outcomes. And we've been really pleased to work with the Trade Commissioner Service in Germany to make sure companies are really prepared. We've been doing prep sessions over the last 3 to 4 months to get them ready, to make sure that they're going into the fair with kind of a really strong understanding of their value proposition, of how to engage with international counterparts, and to kind of do that business matchmaking ahead of time. So everybody's really going into the show really well prepared. In addition to the business outcomes for companies, we also want to use this great opportunity where kind of the eyes on Hannover Messe will be on Canada, to really showcase what we have to offer as an innovative country, as a great destination for investment. Ambassador Bellmann mentioned there'll be a number of large signature events, also in our main pavilion in Hall 2, which is called the Canadian Innovation Ecosystems Pavilion. We have a slate of programming throughout the week, so we'll have a platform to really promote what Canada has to offer, not only for people at the fair, but I think we're going to be live streaming everything again this year. So that'll be a great opportunity to connect to wider audiences. As well, we're also looking at making sure that we're active in all parts of Hanover. So Ambassador Bellmann mentioned the Global Innovation Summit, which is being led by the National Research Council. We're also quite active in an event that happens at Hanover every year called FemWorks, which is a women's leadership conference. And we're happy to be able to offer not only a Canadian keynote speaker, but also a Canada-Germany focused panel at FemWorks, as well as 2 pre-FemWorks warm-up panels that we'll be hosting in Hall 2. So we have a really great contingent of female executives who also will be there with us, and we'll have some specific opportunities to kind of showcase the work that they're doing in both kind of the digital sector and in decarbonization and resilience. So we're really, really excited about that. And I think Jay's going to talk about all the results from last year and some of the tech, because that's really NGen's area. But maybe I'll let Stéphane, because we've been working really closely together, and you're like the expert on the Canada-Germany bilateral relationship. And this event, as you can see, is super important, that relationship. So maybe, do you want to make a few remarks on the trade and investment piece?
Of course. Well, thank you very much, Christina, Ambassador. Thank you for convening us. ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I'd like to make a few remarks. I'm Stéphane Lessard, Acting Director General for European Affairs, and I would like to situate the event we're discussing today in the context of the broader relationship. So I'll make a few remarks along those lines. But first, I would like to congratulate Germany for the election last Sunday. The impressive voter turnout of 83% is a testament to the strong democratic engagement of the German people. So congratulations. So in respect to the broader bilateral relationship and economic partnership, certainly what the story I will be telling is that this event, as big as it is, will be an important part of a much bigger picture of a very strategic, strong, forward-looking partnership. Relations between Canada and Germany, they're strong, they're multifaceted, and they are growing. We are like-minded G7 partners. We are NATO allies with a shared commitment to democratic values, including the rule of law and respect for human rights. And those values are being challenged around the world. And in those times, like today, the like-minded nature of our relationship, Canada is looking for friends that share our values. So this really matters. And we work closely together, our two countries, to bolster multilateralism, the rules-based international order, peace and security in Ukraine, in Europe, across the Atlantic, and elsewhere in the world. Nos relations étroites sont fondées sur des liens de personne à personne très forts. Nos communautés et nos familles sont interreliées. Presque 3 millions de Canadiens, de Canadiennes, revendiquent une ascendance partielle ou totale allemande, et environ 400 000 Canadiens se rendent en Allemagne chaque année. So about 400,000 Canadians go to Germany every year. Almost 3 million claim some ancestry going back to Germany. So this is a really important people-to-people pillar of our relationship. In respect to the economic side of things, both our countries benefit from comprehensive trade, investment, and innovation ties. Our two-way trade in 2024 totaled $30.3 billion, an increase of 42% over 2016. And I mentioned 2016 because that's the year when we concluded between Canada and the European Union, the Canada-European Union Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement. You may have heard of CETA. So this is Canada, European Union, but it's more than free trade. It's also a comprehensive investment and economic agreement. And trade has grown significantly between our countries during this period. Canada's top merchandise exports to Germany, again in 2024, included energy products, consumer goods, metal ores, industrial machinery, and electronic and electrical equipment. Investment, so that was the trade part of the picture. Investment between Canada and Germany has also been steadily growing. In 2023, German direct investment in Canada was valued at $42 billion, and Canadian direct investment in Germany was roughly $15 billion. I want to talk about the strong relationship also in science, research, and innovation, because trade is about the more near term, but research and innovation is about the medium and longer term. We're planning for the future. And here we have a really good story to tell in respect to our bilateral cooperation. We have an agreement on science technology dating back to 1971, which has enabled our researchers, our best minds, to conclude more than 1,500 research agreements since 1971. and dealing with topics like Arctic science, space technology, digital research, etc. So that's true in a bilateral context, but also in a multilateral context. Canada is an associated country with Horizon Europe, the new framework, the current framework research program of the European Union that enables Canadian researchers to partner up with German and other European and elsewhere researchers and basically do the research that will lead to innovative solutions to pressing global problems like climate change, like food insecurity, but also enable new products and services that will be commercialized because our businesses can participate in the research partnerships. And also on Eureka, I mentioned earlier to one of the colleagues in the room, Eureka, which is a multinational platform enabling businesses to collaborate on projects, the research projects that are oriented towards commercialization. This year, Canada and Germany are the co-chairs of the Eureka platform. Again, in a further exemplifying the strong partnership between our countries.
And it's the first time Canada is the first non-European country to chair this through this co-chair.
That is correct, and we appreciate that honor. And so Eureka, I think, Christina, I think you alluded to it. There will be a major event, Eureka Summit, during the Hannover Messe week.
That's right. Tuesday and Wednesday, also co-located on the fairground in the conference center. So all Canada, all the time that week at Hanover.
That's great. I like that slogan. And to add to the picture of trade and investment, maybe I would say that our engagement in trade and investment is strategic and it's forward-looking. And one of the examples for that is the Hydrogen Alliance that we concluded in 2022 during Chancellor Scholz's visit to Canada. And this is dealing with green hydrogen. And the aim is to create a transatlantic corridor for green hydrogen between our countries, where Canada would produce and Germany would enable, and Canada would also work with Germany to ensure transportation, and this would contribute to Germany's, energy needs, of course, but also, Germany's climate goals, and also Canada would be a partner in achieving climate goals. So this is important. In respect to Hannover Messe specifically, of course, it was mentioned earlier, this is the biggest event, trade and investment and innovation event in our bilateral calendar this year. We will be supporting many goals that were mentioned earlier, including trade diversification, showcasing Canada's reputation as a stable and reliable partner, and achieving many other objectives that the Parliamentary Secretary was able to mention as well. So I want to acknowledge, yes, the strong efforts of our department in the Trade Commissioner Service, as you mentioned, Christina, both in Canada and also in Berlin and Düsseldorf, and our missions in Germany to enable a strong Canadian participation. And the last thing I'll say is make a link to the G7 presidency of Canada this year. Canada is president for 2025 of the G7. We fully expect that there will be concrete outcomes from Hannover Messe in terms of new partnerships between our leading businesses and institutions that will become concrete proposals to advance some of Canada's and the G7 goals for this year. There is a pillar of the G7 called the B7, Business 7, you may know, and we see a strong probability that there will be some of these new partnerships established in Hanover that will become inputs to the deliberations of the B7 group, I think in April or May. I think it's May, is it? And that will be also a way to provide contributions, ideas, proposals, concrete proposals for business engagement and support of the G7 goals to be discussed at the G7 summit in June in Kananaskis, in areas like economic security, challenges to the global trading system, and building an inclusive, digital, and clean economic future, for example. So all that to say, Hannover Messe is a major event. We're extremely supportive and proud to be your partner with Germany in this event, and we look forward to a very successful event. And to tell us more, I would like to pass the floor to Jayson Myers, our CEO of NGen, for further details. Thank you very much.
Jayson, just before you start, just to say, the research piece is really huge. I mean, it's one of my biggest files here as an ambassador to whichever university I go in Canada. I'm really surprised how much German researchers are there, how really closely the cooperation is. And we just had the 15 leading Canadian universities visiting Germany and meeting up with the 15 leading German universities, in order to create even more partnerships given Horizon Europe Corporation. And that's also pretty unique. But Jayson, over to you.
And they'll be there, the 15
at
Hanover.
yeah.
That's right.
I was going to say many of those universities will be at Hanover as well, and display the research that they're undertaking with German counterparts in areas like artificial intelligence and biomaterials, with quantum research for advanced materials generally. So we have a number of colleges and universities participating in our ecosystem, innovation ecosystem pavilion. But I wanted to say, first of all, thank you so much, Ambassador, for allowing us to be here and inviting us today. This wraps up a series of press conferences that we've had really right around the world. Tokyo, Seoul, Milan, London, Istanbul, Eindhoven, and now here in Ottawa. And there have been over 400 media outlets participating in this press conferences internationally. So thank you to Canadian media outlets for being here today. It's, I think, really important to communicate the importance of Hannover Messe to Canadians, and also to communicate how extremely proud we are of the Canadian participants and the technologies that will be on display at Hanover this year. So Next Generation Manufacturing Canada, NGen, is the organization that's leading Canada's global innovation cluster for advanced manufacturing. And what we do is build advanced manufacturing, world-leading advanced manufacturing capabilities in Canada, for the benefit of Canadians and frankly for a global benefit. We do that by supporting collaborative projects that integrate various technologies and manufacturing capabilities to develop new advanced manufacturing processes. We support education programs, university college collaboration, cluster collaboration across the country as well. But above all, one of the reasons we started was to promote all these great capabilities that Canada has in advanced manufacturing, and frankly, that very few Canadians know about. We're doing that internationally, but we also want to make sure that Canadians know about some of the great things that we do in this country. There are very few places in the world that have this combination and concentration of world-leading research, of the great technology we have, both in terms of some of the larger companies operating here, a number of them, like Siemens, for instance, with global product mandates and technology operating out of Canada because of the ecosystem that they see here. But we also have, of course, some really, really strong technology startups and technology ecosystems across the country here, and a very varied and very strong manufacturing base as well, and of course, skilled workforce. So put all of that together and build the collaboration around it, and you've got something that is very, very dynamic, something that's very powerful, and that's and solutions, frankly, that will be on display at Hanover because they're unique in the world. That's why you come to this fair. I first went to the Hanover Fair with a delegation of 5 Canadian companies back in 2011, and even then we were talking, wouldn't it be great to showcase Canada as a part of the country? A long time ago. And I'm so excited that we will have a chance to do that this year. Last year, we took 83 companies to exhibit at Hanover. And they went, and we're excited to be there this year because, first of all, just the scope and the scale of this. It takes an hour to walk from end to end. And the first piece of advice we give our exhibitors is wear comfortable shoes. There. And that's if you don't stop to look at any of the technologies on display. There are 27 pavilions and probably somewhere in the area of 20 that will be used this year. All the size of Skydome in Toronto. These are huge pavilions or halls for demonstrating technology. So you will be able to go there because it's really awesome in true sense of the word there. But so it's an opportunity to showcase technologies to the world. We talk about Germany, and of course, lots of opportunity there, but this is an international. It's an opportunity for Canadian companies to meet with new suppliers, new innovation partners, to see what is leading edge. And it's an opportunity to discuss some of the big issues of the day, including economic security, which seems to be on the agenda these days. But it's also an opportunity for companies, that it always has been, to look at the technologies that are really reshaping the business of advanced manufacturing. How advanced materials and AI and quantum biomanufacturing are really reshaping that business. And as products become data platforms, as the business of manufacturing becomes more, how do you provide a solution incorporating services to companies? These are much more important than these discussions are much more important than ever. So last year, 83 companies, many inquiries about was Canada the department country last year? No, but we were getting revved up, and we had already done quite a bit of work. I'm really glad to be working with Christina and team at ISED and with Global Affairs too. Got a really strong organizing team here. But even at that point, we were getting revved up in 2024 for 2025. But it's really important as well to look at the impacts of participation. And we just finished up a survey 9 months after the fair last year, asking companies that participated as exhibitors what the impact was. Well, there were 60 companies attending. We contacted each one by phone. We asked about their sales. And everybody got good leads from last year. There were 38 out of 60, so 63% of the companies who actually reported sales as a direct benefit from the participation in the fair. And then we asked, well, can you give us an estimate? So we're estimating right now that the economic benefit of that participation was something like $72 million in additional sales, just because of the participation in Hanover. As Christine was saying, this is a very unique type of trade show, technology show. It's because it's a variety of technologies that are applicable to a variety of industries, and technologies ranging from energy and robotics and automation, AI, and so forth. So very, very horizontal. But it's also a place where you get top executives walking the floor. This is a place to do business. And we had several companies last year that actually made sales right there on the spot. And one company in particular, the chap walked over to me and said, "You'll never guess, but I just met someone who we're going to do an investment deal. He's offering me $5 million."
That was Monday. That was day one. That was day one.
Yeah, and wow. And so amazing opportunities. So this year, we'll have 1,000 Canadians descending on Hanover for March 30th. So we're going to bump up those tourist numbers.
You're all very welcome.
If they can find an accommodation. It's a regional effort with hotels all across northern Germany taking part. We have right now 248 Canadian companies registered to exhibit. I think we'll beat the 250 number. We set a target of 200, so we've already beaten that. And they'll be bringing several people to populate their exhibits. We'll also have right now 280 delegates who have signed up. They're not exhibitors, but they're visitors. They're there to look at technologies, to do business, to support and to talk about their issues at the fair as well in that speaking program that Christina had mentioned before. So we'll be very, very well represented there. The head of our business delegation is Linda Hessenfratz, the executive chair of Denmark there, and we've got some very top key CEOs, probably well over 60 CEOs participating at the fair. It is a place for CEOs, and as well as all sorts of other technology engineers there too, which I am. The other thing that we're doing, of course, is highlighting very important themes of Canadian technology and providing exhibits to showcase those technologies. So in addition to the general ecosystem pavilion, that's where the universities and colleges will be. That's where Durham will be with the university, with the college, with Project Arrow, which is a great example of Canadian technology that's being integrated into new electric vehicles, just to show the power of automotive technology in Canada. We'll have a special quantum display there. The Perimeter Institute, the world's leading institute for theoretical physics, will be there. And of course, and we have 15 different startups. A lot in quantum, but a lot in AI as well. We'll all be participating in some speaking programs and pitches at that stage as well. So that'll be where some of the receptions and the cultural activities take place on Monday night, which is the night of innovation. Other types of exhibits are robotics and automation pavilion in one of the halls. This is where we'll be showcasing robotics capabilities. And I'm really proud to say when Christina and I were in Hanover last week at a press conference there, they presented an award for the fair's best international award for the fair's best robotics company. And Maple Advanced Robotics from Richmond Hill won the award. There it wasn't really, but they won the recognition of being the best robotics application at the fair. So you see some of the power of Canadian technology, some of the opportunities there. And for NGen, it was a special gift because it was one of our projects to develop a totally automated robotics platform that learns to apply robotic applications and various applications in advanced manufacturing there. But this takes robotics from having to be coded to something that is self-learning and was recognized as the best international robotics application or solution at the fair. But we'll also have some other activities going on at the Automation and Robotics Pavilion. We will have a robotics hockey goal that has been put together by Sir Frederick Banting High School students. We'll have them running this hockey goalie, and we'll be inviting everybody, including the Chancellor and the Chancellor to be, to take a shot on that and see how it looks.
That's perfect.
So that'll be fun. I just hope it works.
Tested before they're setting up.
Yeah, I hope it works. We'll also have a mechatronics contest. So we have 3 colleges from Canada, Humber, Conestoga State out in Calgary, and one German university. So 4 teams competing in a mechatronics contest to build robotic systems over the course of the week, and that should be a lot of fun as well. So we have two other pavilions in the alternative energy sector. One focusing on hydrogen technologies, the other on alternative energy technologies, biomaterials, and of course a very large exhibitor space in the digital solutions pavilion. So this is AI solutions and cybersecurity, and it's also network capabilities as well. So a really good array of technology solutions. You don't go to Hanover with 7 or 8 technologies. You go with the world's best, and that's why we're so excited. Before I finish, I do want to call out a couple of things we were talking about cultural. So for the opening ceremony, we'll have something very, very special. We're bringing in Red Sky and Setla. So this is indigenous dance team with a Quebec-based circus team that are developing a whole new act there, and will be presented to this very, very acrobatic dance that will be highlighted by generative AI will interpret dance behind it. And this is again a really unique and world-leading type of entertainment. It's because of the nature of the generative AI process there. So it should be cool. And then we've got Shane Cook and the Wood Chippers, who's going to be entertaining us with some fiddle music there as we break into the reception. The night of innovations, we have Shane again and DJ that will be in the night of innovations in the academic ecosystem pavilion. And then for partner country night, we're really proud to say that we have Shauna Cardan as our keynote entertainer, along with both will be providing some great Canadian entertainment, along with some culinary experiences that really reflect the diverse feature. So we're really looking forward to it. I could go on and on and on about stuff.
But I do think thank you very, very much. Thank you very much to all of our speakers. Thank you very much to our journalists here, to our journalists on Zoom who do have questions. So I think it would be great now to continue with the questions. And yes, is it all right for you if we start with the colleagues on Zoom? Yes. All right. We do have my colleague Michael Burke who will read the questions aloud.
Hi, Tonda Charles from Toronto Star is asking, what is Germany's view of Trump's 51st state comments? Why hasn't Germany objected to Trump's annexation threats of a G7 and NATO ally? And how has Trump's threats against Canada affected the willingness of German investors, including big companies like VW, to continue to view Canada as a place to invest?
Should we collect questions or?
Okay.
So I'll start on that. So for us, it's very clear. Canada becoming part of the United States could only happen with Canada deciding to do so, and the Canadian people and the Canadian political spectrum has been very clear that this is not on the agenda. So, and the German Chancellor has been very clear that territorial integrity and the respect for borders is a principle that is internationally. That everybody in the world has to adhere to, no matter where we are situated. And it's not just a question that we discuss around Ukraine, but a question that is universally a part of international law, and therefore we expect everybody to adhere to it. So I think we've been pretty clear on that. We've also been clear that we don't believe we should start dividing the world up into, mutual tariff barriers and tariff threats, and that trade wars will help nobody. So I think our politicians have been clear. And in terms of business investments, of course the the current situation already shows effect, I think, because a lot of investment, not so much from the German side, but in general, a lot of investment decisions are not being taken at the moment, which is something we regret. I don't sense in the German investment community. I think they know why they value investments in Canada, and that hasn't changed. These fundamental, and it was the ecosystem that has been described by colleagues here is still the case, and our strengths that Canada has to offer and will continue to offer. So let's see how things go forward and stay level-headed.
And Joanna Smith from The Logic asks, what is the latest update on the 600 million agreement to support the export of hydrogen from Atlantic Canada to Germany? With a follow-up, what could be done to accelerate these plans given the increased need for Canada to diversify trade?
So I guess that goes to me again, or at least I will start. The process is currently with the European Commission. So, the papers have been submitted, and the European Commission has to clear, under competence law, has to clear the arrangement. There are questions that are still being asked back to the Canadian side, and that is something that has to be sort of sorted out in order to come to a clearance. We hope that this will go forward smoothly, but the clearing is still taking place between Brussels and Ottawa.
I would say that this remains a high priority for the government. Decisions will be taken by the government regarding the support for this initiative. There are some funding decisions that need to be concluded, that need to be made, but we strongly believe in this project on its fundamentals, but also because it's an investment in the future of our clean economies, clean trade. And so the government remains committed to this, and we look forward to progress on this important initiative.
And for the German side to say, for us, green hydrogen will be a huge part of our energy mix. So we will be seeking to do these kind of arrangements with a variety of countries. It is, I think there is definitely a business case in the future for this technology, and the challenge is now to make it economically viable. But we phase out coal. We will be phasing out LNG over time. We have become energy independent from Russia, and hydrogen is for us is part of the future of our energy sector.
All right. Then let's head to the journalists over here for prison.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Pramit Mukherjee. I'm from Reuters. Canada was selected as a partner in 2022, we've said, right? Since then, till now, things have changed considerably in terms of how we look at the global landscape in trade. After November, since the tariff threat started increasing on Canada, has there been any change in plans on how Canada looks at this particular event? Has there been a broader engagement, a bigger delegation or something that Canada is doing since the tariff threat started coming?
Well, let me start off. First of all, in the last month alone, we've had 50 companies register as exhibitors and delegates there. So, if anything, Hanover has taken on a greater prominence because of the opportunities that companies see to diversify, find new customers, and also find new suppliers, find new technology partners there too. So I would say, if anything, what has happened since November has actually shone a brighter spotlight on the opportunities that certainly a lot more interested in this space.
Maybe add to that. Companies that came to Hanover with us in 2024, so for our ramp up year, saw the business value in the event, and I think companies still see the business value in the event, and really that's what we've seen drives that participation is they're going and they're getting a really great return on investment, and that's motivating companies to come and exhibit with us. I think the changing landscape has maybe changed the frame for companies around why they're, some of the why they're doing it. But in the end, it's really about that it's a great place to do business where they're getting a lot of value. So I think that's that continues to be the driver.
One more follow-up. So we are seeing a lot of uncertainty, and you all agree with that. I mean, even in Canada, a lot of companies, even normal local investments are not happening. They're holding back on those investments. Some companies are planning to move to US. So in that scenario, where there's a lot of uncertainty and companies are unwilling to invest, do you think that these kind of engagement that Canada is doing at the event might be impacted in terms of the deals they are signing or the kind of investments they are garnering?
I mean, I actually think that given the uncertainty and the changing landscape, that this event is actually more important for Canadian companies, because I think it's a chance for industry to really talk to industry and Canadian industry to be talking to European partners and really I think our counterpart in Germany said this, is that Hanover is really a venue for business to come together and find the solutions together. And I think that in this time, that's actually more important to be talking to partners and like-minded partners face to face. So I think that actually I view that as a positive development in terms of being able to really make those connections. I would say the other thing that we experienced both years when we've been recruiting for Hanover, we've done cross Canada road shows where we've been, one city per day, talking to people, having former exhibitors come and be with us and kind of tell their stories. And what we've heard repeatedly, and I think this is kind of speaks to what we're seeing in terms of, Canadian industry cohesion, is Canadian companies said, I came to Hanover to do business with Germany, Europe, and the world, and I ended up partnering and meeting other Canadians. And I had to come out of Canada to do it, but we were all together, and now they're actually helping one another. And I think that, it's not the reason we're doing it, but it's a really great indirect benefit, I think, of that participation at Hanover, is really bringing people together kind of with that solutions-based mindset.
Yeah, and the companies that I speak with, and we are very concerned that we see companies pull up registrations, and we've seen very, very few who say that they're not from. In fact, we've made up and exceeded for every company that's come up. We've gained more companies probably over the last month or so there. And I think companies need to be cautious, but they also have to look at new opportunities. And we've had a lot of if there are opportunities to displace U.S. imports in Canada, if there are opportunities to build new partnerships with suppliers or new customers, then companies that know what they're doing invest for the long term. They don't invest for the head. And I think that's where most Canadian companies are.
I'm going to add that I think this is an example of a counterbalance for the uncertainty that we're currently seeing, right? Because you see like-minded allied countries that believe in the international rules-based order, that believe in fair trade and the rules-based system that all of that hinges upon, really strengthening their relationships. And I think shoring up those relationships and having stronger ties is what we need to do as a country to stand up to the threat of those tariffs. I think we've said that publicly quite a number of times. I think it resonates with the Canadian people. They understand that that's what we need to do. And I think we're doing the hard work of, both diversifying our free trade relationships at an international level. I know Ecuador and Indonesia were fairly recent examples of that. But I think in this case, Europe and Germany and Europe present such a big opportunity for Canada. And so I think that this really helps to counterbalance that uncertainty.
If I may just add an additional element to that. It was mentioned that Canadian companies or companies anywhere like certainty. The rules underpinning the discussions that will be happening on new partnerships are very clear. the rules of the road are set up under the Canada-Europe Comprehensive Economic, Canada-European Union Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement. And so that agreement provides the framework. It is a clear agreement, it's enforced. When Canadian companies go to Hanover, they will be meeting with clear rules of the road to follow in terms of the business relationships that they establish. They will be dealing with trusted partners that will follow those rules. And so that framework will provide that certainty and that stability that for trade or investment that our businesses need. And so the context is different, and that will support more deals, and that will support our diversification and other goals. Thank you.
Dylan Robertson from the Canadian Press. I'm going to ask two questions, and I'll try my best to throw in a third here, if that's okay. I just wanted to know about trade diversification, especially from Ambassador Bellmann and Mr. Myers. I think Canadians have a lot of interest in increasing trade with partners like Germany, but I think they don't understand the gaps. I don't. Under CETA, it seems like there's a lot of raw materials coming out of Canada. I'm just wondering, with everything so shaky with the US, are there specific sectors that, are on the table in Germany for Canadians to tap into and in Europe more broadly?
It's a very good question. I don't have a very good answer to, because we've been discussing this now, also, within the group of European ambassadors here in Canada. And then I'm asking the question to, interlocutors throughout Canada that I meet with, how can we make CETA even more operational? I mean, in the German case, trade has gone up 40+%, 45 or something like that. I think all across Europe, between Canada and Europe, it's over 60%. For some of the smaller countries, it's 300% that haven't had much trade before. But there is, I think, still a lot we can do to make it even bigger. And I think the work both sides have in front of them now is to really go into the detail what is blocking even more trade to happen under CETA. And so I can't give you the answer yet because we haven't really done the work, but it's something from the European side we are really hugely interested in doing, and I'm sure from the Canadian side as well. So I don't know if you have better answers, but this is what I can say at the moment.
Yeah, I think from the perspective of Hannover Messe, what we're seeing is that a lot of the exhibitors are advanced manufacturing technology solution providers, robotics companies, AI companies, alternative energy companies. And they're there because they see an opportunity in the automotive sector and in the energy sector as well, but also the machinery. Germany has some of the best machine tools, the best machine technologies in the world. But today they're running on AI. And they will be running on quantum, and they'll have these others here. And so these companies, and also some of the robotics and automation systems we have here, find applications in some of the largest processing industrial companies in Germany. I remember there's a story. I remember a tour of Siemens in Hamburg, and this is their showcase facility. Most of it is automated there, and we were being taken around and on a tour by a chap who said, what does Canada have to offer in advanced manufacturing technology? And when he asked us that, we were surrounded by ATS automation equipment. That's manufactured about 20 kilometers from where I live in Dayton. This is where we do great things around the world, and very few people, including Canadians, are aware of that. And likewise, there were many brewing companies here, and Siemens again with Festo celebrating 50 years in Canada, Siemens over 100 years in Canada. As you know, in Eurodrive, some of the chunk. I can go on with the number of German companies that are operating in Canada. They're not here just to do business in Canada. They're here because they have global product mandates that they develop here in Canada and sell internationally, and not just to the US. So, Canada and countries here too look to Germany as this is the source of some of the leading manufacturing technologies. So when you look at our exhibitors, they're largely technology companies and solution providers. When you look at our visitors or delegates, a large part of that contingent are manufacturers that are going over there to look at some of these great technologies.
Great. And I was also wondering, Ambassador Bellmann, if you could sort of comment on the mandate that German voters have delivered and what that means for Canada specifically. We've seen a few parties that have who want to change when it comes to America, but I'm wondering more about Canada. If there is anything that might change. Obviously, the Chancellor needs to be picked and the cabinet and all that. But I'm just wondering, do you see any sort of change, whether that's closer ties, whether that's a change in the type of ties bilaterally? Well, first of all, we have a very clear result of the election, and we will be able to form a government in the coming weeks. And you can rest assured that this government will continue to be a great friend of Canada, and we will continue to foster these close relations that we have as G7 partners, NATO allies, but also under the EU-Canada relationship. And if anything, I think this partnership is going to grow and get even closer. I mean, we've spoken about the trade and business piece and the investment piece, and we are one of the biggest investors here in Canada. I think the fourth biggest. If I'm not mistaken, and the research ties are huge. We've increasing ties in the military field. I mean, our armed forces serve side by side in the Baltic states, where you're in Latvia, we're in Lithuania, are setting up brigades that account for thousands of soldiers. Our armies have never been cooperating as closely as they do today. We have a trilateral security partnership in terms of maritime security in the North Atlantic. There's lots we do on the Arctic. I mean, Germany is a world-leading Arctic research nation. We've just found the money for a new generation research icebreaker that in the years to come will be procured, and then we'll do great research here in cooperation with Canadian institutions and Indigenous peoples. So I think there is so much already there and huge potential, and I'm very, very confident that the incoming government will want to bring this to bear even more fully. And if I could just throw in one clarification question about the hydrogen project. You mentioned there is spending that needs to be approved. You mentioned that it's in front of the EU Commission. I'm wondering if that process is proceeding at a satisfactory pace right now, and if there is a need for parliamentary allocations, just given prorogation and likely election. Is that holding up this project from its anticipated timeline?
I can't actually answer that directly because I don't have the information, but we'd be happy to take the question and provide a written answer. That's okay.
And Commission, is it moving at a satisfactory pace? I think there are open questions between technical questions as to the Commission has to be assured that enough competition is provided by the framework. And that's something that has to be clarified with the Canadian side, and that's as far as I know, is where the business is.
So if there are any more questions, please do tell now. Not on Zoom, not in the room. Thank you very much to our speakers. Thank you very much for all of you who have been with us today. As for those present, please feel free and welcome to enjoy a little breakfast with us. As to those who are on Zoom, very sorry you cannot enjoy the breakfast. So maybe this is an incentive to come in person next time. Goodbye.